Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Guapish Rule 34. As always, I'm your host, Nico, and today I have a special guest by the name of Tanner. So, Tanner, people tell me that you're a really funny guy, that you like to make people laugh. Is that true, Tanner? You a real funny guy? You want to make me laugh, big guy? Come on, dance, Tanner. Come on, dance for me, funny guy. Come on, make me laugh. And, of course, we're also being joined by our special guest, Jackson.
I'm gonna cry. Tanner scared me so much with that big, masculine scream.
And rounding out our cast today is Dylan.
Yeah, I'm a sadist and I am just eating up Jackson's dismay right now. This is making me absolutely livid.
Happy to hear it, dude. And today, boys, what do we got going on today for us, huh?
Dude, it's fucking, International, People Against Homophobia Day or some bullshit.
Is that actually true?
I think that was yesterday.
Well, regardless. Dude, there's an international day for every day, like, at this point. It's like how every day has
Yeah,
a saint or
I'm gonna
whatever.
look up what holiday it is today.
Holiday. Does an international day count as a holiday, though?
Yes, it is holy to the globalists.
Okay.
Let's see, May 19th, it is National Barber Mental Health Awareness Day.
Why would barbers... What?
Barbers are infamously suicidal, Dylan. Weren't you aware?
Yeah, it's gotta be all the stories they hear, the people's hair they're cutting, right?
Yeah, exactly. All those fumes that they're huffing from, like, that blue liquid. What even is that liquid?
Barbicide.
Yeah, barbicide.
Barbicide.
That's what it's called. Yeah, that's a thing.
That's crazy.
I remember staring at it when I was a young child getting my hair cut in a garage. I don't know why they had it. They never used it on me, so...
It has been a hot second since I have gotten my hair cut at a barber shop.
Dude, same. They complained about how thick my hair was and that it was my fault that my hair was ruining her hair clips, so I never went back.
Yeah, that seems pretty unprofessional.
It was pretty unprofessional. I've been having my hair done by my sister for a long time.
Yeah. That sounds like a really weird thing to be complaining about, that was, like, your fault. What do you guys feel like are some, like, the most dumbfounding statements you've ever heard like that?
Tanner's thinking of everything I've said in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. 15 minutes, brother.
I'm giving you a wide time berth here, man. You can
You're
choose
giving me a very narrow one, so let's ring up that sentence that he just said.
I
Let's
say
put that
dumb
one
shit
on the board.
all the time, dude. Sometimes I do it on
Dude,
purpose.
I'm gonna be honest, this is a great topic suggestion. I cannot fucking think of any examples.
Don't worry, dude. Just, like, sit there and stew on it a little bit. I'll regale you some of my own.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, one that I've absolutely cited previously on the podcast for me is that one of my exes, at some point, she had stated this very fun idea to me that it is impossible to understand what someone is saying and still disagree with them.
I get where she was going with this.
Yeah.
I think she kind of failed to take into account people just being wrong about factual information.
Yeah.
Tanner, so what you're saying is you directly disagree with her.
Yeah.
Like, you understand where she's coming from, but you disagree.
Yeah.
You said you disagree with her.
Yeah. Seems like a pretty normal thing to do.
Fundamentally.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, if someone says 2 + 2 = 5, like, you can understand what they're saying and then be like, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 2 + 2 = fish.
I think she was trying to do essentially a, like, walk a mile in their shoes sort of statement, but it just kind of went horribly awry.
She's never seen a well-written villain before.
Yeah.
The well-written villains are the ones where you can kind of understand where they're going with, but you cannot agree with their end goals, the walk to their talk.
Yeah, if only she watched Watchmen, she'd really start to come to terms with what Ozymandias was trying to pull there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wouldn't, from her perspective, the thing be, like, if she does understand him, then now she's all on board?
Yes, apparently.
Fantastic. I have thought of one funny one. I've definitely told this one on the podcast before, but it was when I was knocking on doors and I talked to this old Argentinian man who told me that climate change was not being caused by pollution or any of that stuff. It's caused by underground nuclear tests pushing the Earth closer to the sun.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That doesn't even...
No, think about it. You do... If
Go ahead.
If the sun is over here and the Earth is here, and you do an underground nuclear test on this side of the Earth, it'll, the force of the explosion will push the Earth a bit closer to the sun.
If it's underground, that means the force is just contained inside the Earth.
Well, no, because we have volcanoes, Dylan.
I mean, yeah, but the volcanoes aren't propelling us towards anywhere.
Well,
Also,
not
they don't
normally,
actually
but,
have-
when there's a nuclear explosion happening.
Most of the time, nukes don't breach our atmosphere. Actually, I think hardly ever they breach our atmosphere.
That's probably true. I think we exploded... I think someone exploded one nuke, in orbit, just to see what would happen.
Yeah, what did happen?
It ignited the atmosphere.
did
We're
do it.
all dead.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all
in
dead.
hell right now.
This is purgatory. This is great. Love it here.
I actually do have one that comes straight from the horse's mouth here, Tanner. This was several years back, okay? This was back in the days of Funny Bros Industries when we were a bunch of little gamers. Tanner stated, there are no good games that are under 10 hours long.
Yeah, that's true.
Yo,
Oh, do I have any how about Super Mario 64? That's a pretty solid one. Portal 2,
that
Ori
is
and the
not
Blind
less than 10
Forest,
hours long.
Titanfall 2, Metal Gear Rising,
You're just being a
Revengeance,
liar right
Dead
now.
Space 2,
What the
that's a
fuck
pretty
are you
good
talking
one.
about?
Shovel Knight, that's a fun game. Into the Breach.
None of these are under 10 hours long.
All of those games are under 10 hours long, Tanner.
I'm sure you can speedrun them.
Speedrun them. The
hours.
mains.
I think an average person playing through the game is not going to take less than 10 hours.
Untrue. You can go into How Long to Beat right now and look at them, dude.
How about you do it?
I literally did. I
mean-
pulled all of those from How Long to Beat.
By the way, guys, Nico is racist.
why? How? What happened?
Because he didn't let me bring up that today is Malcolm X's birthday.
Damn.
I mean, did he stop you?
Terrifyingly enough, also Nikado Avocado's birthday. What does that mean?
Welcome back, Malcolm X.
There's
That'd be
definitely
awesome. Holy shit.
definitely a joke I missed.
Dylan, do you know who Malcolm X is?
Kinda. I know he's a black guy.
That's true.
That's all you need to know.
That's all I really know. He did something.
He did something. I think actually he's more defined by the lack of important things he accomplished.
Dang, that's unfortunate. What did he do? Or what didn't he do?
Set black people free.
Yeah, something like that. He's like the anti-Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
the yin to his
Anti.
yang.
He's the Wario to MLK's Mario.
What, did he try to keep all the black people locked up? What does that mean?
No, it's just he wanted to set them free with violence.
Oh, yeah, no, war, what's it good for? Absolutely.
Yeah, he's the one who made that song.
That's not true.
It was more of a satire. I like how the term satire is just... if you're using it improperly, which is to say the popular way to use it, it just means you're lying.
Yeah.
You're doing something untruthful.
I do that a lot, probably. Unknowingly.
You're a satire of a human being.
That's insulting. I don't like... Why you have to be so
Insulting
mean
to who, though? You or human beings?
Whichever's worse? I don't know how to properly answer that statement.
Well, going back to the topic, I actually do have one more here, okay? One more.
Let's hear it.
Which was Jackson! I'm pegging you this time, dude. Jackson stated previously that he does not want self-driving cars, to the extent that, there'll be, just one big fucking hive mind and the government will, outlaw normal-ass driving cars. And instead he just wants to, be able to drive around cars for fun.
But, Jack...
Yeah, you're the retard here, Nico.
Untrue, dude. Untrue. That would be so fucking sweet. Fucking traffic would be a thing of the past at that point, Tanner.
It is...
I don't think that's
It
true.
is A, not gonna work as well as you think it will, and B, will have horrible negative repercussions.
Like what?
Like governments and private companies being able to shut off your car remotely.
True.
And
Also,
hackers being able to, just kidnap you by you just going into your own fucking car.
The big thing, too, is transitioning to something like that is, at least within our lifetime, I don't think very reasonable. There's a massive amount of cars on the road that, and probably for the next 20 years, that won't have any amount of self-driving capabilities. And we're going to have to go from that point all the way back with all the cars that exist today still, and have to make those work with that system, or just completely ban all cars that don't work with this, hive network. And this is also assuming that these things would work on, like, outdoor trails and stuff. You know, people that don't live in big cities where things aren't as clearly defined. Like, how is your fucking self-driving car going to take you to, like, a camping site or something?
Musk will figure it out, dude. Well, let's go under the assumption here that we are given, like, you know, fucking government-subsidized cars. They should give them out for free to every single person in America. We just get them now.
That sounds realistic. They can't even fucking... Yeah,
but, like, under the assumption that did happen, dude, it'd be fucking sweet.
Listen, let's go under the assumption that everything goes the absolute best way possible.
Yeah, exactly.
If you imagine this scenario and it's absolutely perfect, wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't it be, Tanner? Like, Tanner, imagine here for a second that every single possible counter-argument that you could have against this idea did not exist, and we just figured it out. Would that not be ideal?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I guess it's like, I still like driving, and I like
You motherfuckers are the reason why
life.
traffic still exists. I fucking hate you!
Nico, you're like one of the only person that's...
You're the reason why traffic still exists. I don't get stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
I go drive around on back roads. I'm not inconveniencing you.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking retard like you.
But you're halting progress here, dude. You don't want this ideal utopia to exist.
No, I'm not.
I think the big thing that would help solve traffic issues is just making everybody work from home. That's applicable. Like, imagine if all office workers just work from home. It'd be like half the amount of fucking, like, rush hour traffic, probably.
True.
It would make things so much easier. And we have the capabilities of doing so. It's just the inability of companies wanting to adapt.
Yeah.
Or they just have, like, too complex and old of infrastructure to set up remote working in an easy manner.
Dude, I would love that a lot, but at the same time, I'd also just really prefer it if I'd never had to drive again. That would also be really cool.
Nico, out of all the people I've ever talked to who don't like driving, which are pretty much all women, by the way, you're like one of the only dudes that doesn't like driving. Say that right
What
now.
does that have to do with anything, Dylan?
I'm
He's
just
calling
saying,
you effeminate.
He's calling you a woman.
We all like to drive. You're the only dude I know that doesn't
And
like
what's
driving.
wrong with that, Dylan?
There's nothing wrong with it. I just thought I'd point it out.
It's just a little observational humor. That's it. You're just busting my balls
Yeah, exactly.
here, dude.
What's the deal with Nico not liking driving?
Dude, imagine this. What if we get Terminator Cars Edition? You ever think of that?
What the fuck does that mean?
All our cars just instantly drive us off a cliff and kill
Yeah,
all
like we
humans.
have a Terminator,
Oh, okay.
Terminator-esque scenario, except they're all cars
Gotcha.
instead of cyborgs or whatever. What do they use? Yeah, that.
What if they do that, Nico? Checkmate, idiot.
I think it would be worth it ultimately, honestly.
That's your opinion and it's wrong.
Dylan, aren't you the one who said opinions can't be wrong?
You guys tell me opinions can be wrong.
Because they
so-
can be, and mine is not.
Yeah,
Well,
he's letting you die by the sword.
Then I'm applying your logic and you're applying mine, so I guess it's a stalemate at this point.
My opinion is 2 + 2 = 5.
It's fish.
I am not wrong in this.
I don't think that's a
Dude,
opinion,
I
though.
will not eat the bugs, I will not live in the pod, and I will not be driven by my own goddamn car.
What the bugs, the pod? What are you talking about?
Don't worry, Dylan, it's just an incredibly common internet phrase that you've never heard of.
How much time do you think I spend on the internet?
As much, if not more than me.
I don't think that's true.
He just spends it all on the
Based
Destiny
on
2
the-
subreddit.
I actually don't.
Dylan, are they making a Destiny 3 or what? The more
Okay, here's the-
importantly, though, Dylan, you have constantly talked about how, like, well, I really don't like the decisions Bungie's been making, but, like, I just have, like, a couple of years, I just have a couple more months of this, it's almost over. Soon enough, I'll never have to play Destiny again. Dylan, would you play Destiny 3?
That is undecided. I can't say that I will. Cause
Just say yes, my boy. Just say yes.
We all know that you will.
Because the big issue here is this is going to turn into another one of those franchises where they just keep milking the story because it makes them money, but then that then that sacrifices like the overall integrity of the game. I just want, because like the saga that we're currently in is just coming to an end, and at this point, like I've watched a video on like what the potential Destiny 3 like plot villains could be. But, like, I don't want it to be, because I feel like it could just come to a definitive end once we get our final DLC release. And apparently it's sounding possible, when it, like, a couple months ago didn't, that we are getting a Destiny 3. So, I don't... me and a couple of people I play with share the same opinion. Like, they thought there was going to be a Destiny 3, but we're not sure we're all going to play it. So... I just...
Are you gonna play fucking, what the fuck is the game they're making? Quarantine?
Marathon.
Oh, you're thinking of... No, Marathon.
Marathon, there we go.
No, I heard that game tanked, and also
But it's not out yet.
Well, the people they had like alpha tested or whatever, alpha testing or not, they said the game wasn't very good. Also, that got delayed back to like 2025 or later at this point. So, and also we're not sure if it'll get finished. So we'll see what happens.
I would be shocked if it doesn't get finished.
Well, there's a lot of financial turmoil going on with that company. And also because
True.
Sony's fucking everything up. Sony is fucking everybody right now. All right, I'm just gonna say that I've never really.
I don't
liked
think
them.
it is. I think it actually is Bungie that have been.
It's a
like,
collective
fucking
thing.
The goose.
I'm just saying, Sony does some dumb stuff that I don't agree with.
What did they do?
The shit that's going on with Helldivers 2 right now. You heard what's going on?
I mean, that's
with
not
that?
happening anymore.
Oh yeah.
There's
They already solved it. So
kinda. I heard.
I agree that was a massive blunder on their part.
Yeah, but and like I don't know. I guess what also just irritates me about Sony is like and I don't know if this is necessarily a problem. So this is kind of like a minor thing, but they're always getting exclusives. Like if there's a game that is shared across consoles, they always get exclusives because they just pay extra money to be like, hey, make sure our players get this content, but this other consoles don't. And that kind of irritates me too.
Like what?
Like in Destiny, for example, they just get like guns and like maps and stuff that Xbox players don't get. For Grand Theft Auto Online, they get like a free $1 million every month or something stupid like that. You know, just extra perks like that.
I think an actually crazy example of this, though, Tanner, was for like a Street Fighter X Tekken. They just had like a shitload of exclusive characters. And I don't think like any of the other platforms had like any, which was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe.
Yeah.
But also, it kind of just sounds like you're a bit salty that you own the other console.
I mean, I don't really care at this point. I just think it's dumb that it's even a thing, so.
But wouldn't you be so ecstatic if like you got exclusive stuff?
I mean, sure. That's always nice. That's why I don't really care either way.
Guys, here's something I'm wondering about. How many times do you poop in the average day, would you say?
Once.
It's highly diet dependent, but typically once.
I'm a 3 pooper a day kind of guy. Jackson, how about you, dude?
I probably average like 2, but I definitely have my days where I do like 3 or 4 if it's an especially bad.
Yeah, I definitely feel that as well, Jackson. Yeah, it looks like we have, there are 2 sides driven in the Guapish cast as per usual here.
Well, that really is just, like Dylan that is just the answer. You guys eat like shit most of the time.
Says the guy who downs like a fucking 2
yeah,
liter of
says the guy.
Coke and like 3 pints of ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah, but I'm only doing that for a week. I'm not doing it,
What is bro
every
laughing
day of my
about?
life for years on end.
Bro's raw maxing efficiently here, unlike us.
Yeah, Jackson was telling me about that earlier, because obviously, or maybe not obviously, there's like this whole rewards campaign going on right now for whatever Mountain Dew, so you buy bottles, they give you points, you redeem it for stuff. Me and Jackson are going for Final Fantasy 14 shit. I was talking about how I have all this soda and shit, but I never drink it. Like, I seem like I drink a lot of soda, and then Jackson's like, oh yeah, well Tanner just got done chugging down, I don't know if he... But,
No, I don't think I ever even said any specifics of it.
have you guys... I think, Tanner, you said you found the exclusive, not exclusive, limited edition Dr. Pepper flavor. Did you find it and try it?
Yeah, I found it at a gas station in, a normal bottle. Yeah, I don't like coconut, and the coconut flavor was very strong, so I did not like it.
Jackson, I'm guessing you still haven't had the chance to try it yet?
No, I mean, I could probably find a smaller quantity of it, but yeah, I didn't feel like I needed 4 cases of it at the time.
No, yeah, don't. I mean, yeah, that was the thing. The Albertsons was like the first stop I tried, because I tried a gas station first. It was fruitless. However, yeah, I didn't go for that's dumb. But hey, I'll bring you a can if you can't find it.
So did you try it,
There we
Dylan?
go.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I've grown to like coconut over the years, and I like Dr. Pepper's my favorite soda, so it only makes sense that I would like it.
Okay. Yeah, it was a very nostalgic flavor for me, but, 1 can was enough for me.
That makes sense. You're not much of a soda drinker.
No,
so
sir.
You're more of like a green fellow.
I'm also not that at all. I just drink water.
Dang. Nico, do you prefer any kind of drink besides like
I like
water?
lemonade.
Like, you don't drink... Yeah, because you don't drink tea, you don't drink coffee, you don't really drink soda, you don't like drinking alcohol.
Yeah, it's basically just water and some juice every now and then. That's about it.
It's pretty healthy. Sounds pretty healthy to me. What kind of lemonade, you dude? Sour or sweet?
Sweet, I guess. I don't drink lemonade that often either. So like.
Dang it, dude! You're fumbling.
Back to the poop talk, though, guys. There's another question here that I'm dying to know. When you wipe your ass, okay? Do you do it sitting down or standing up?
Standing up.
I mean, I hover, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like fully standing up, like fully erect,
Well,
but I'm definitely just like
I'm
off
not,
the seat of it.
fucking straightening my back or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just off the bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, because there's a very high amount of people, 50% of the population allegedly, who sits down while they're wiping.
Dude, it's too much of a squeeze. I can't...
Yeah, I don't... Like, my arm is too big to, go... And also, they're putting their hand, into the bowl?
Yeah, no, I don't
Unhinged behavior.
Yeah, I don't want to risk that shit. You can't tell me they don't hover a little bit, because that's unbelievable.
I think they just... I believe they scooch forward on the bowl, and then, they just give themselves the old reach around, and they're sticking their hand in the
I don't think they do it behind
them,
people... Tanner. I think it's through the front.
I don't think they do it behind either. Yeah, between the legs, dude.
The people I've heard say they go behind.
I can't reach
because from the front, then you're just gonna accidentally scrape some shit onto your balls and or vagina.
Well, that's if you do back to front, I suppose. I figured front to back was the...
Wait, okay. You're saying they're reaching down from the front and then somehow doing back to front?
I don't think that's that crazy.
What are the mechanics of this?
They just fucking reach down there, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
How do they do a swiping motion if they're reaching under like this that goes front to back?
The assumption here is that you push, so you push front to back. There's no I don't know, dude. I don't do it, so I can't tell you.
That seems that doesn't seem like it would work.
People do it, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure women have to do it front to back. I remember learning something in health class where you can get infections if you do it the way or something crazy. So
true.
It's possible.
I just take a shower every time I take a shit.
Nah, dude, that's what bidets are.
There is a podcast I listen to where one of the members, he does genuinely just take a shower after he shits.
Okay.
Very funny.
This is a question I've been thinking. This is the most opportune time. If you guys go to the bathroom before you take a shower, do you wash your hands before getting in the shower?
If I... no, unless it's an extreme circumstance where the toilet paper ripped and you got some shit actually on your hand. But typically no.
Jackson?
Yeah, I know. Okay. It's a waste of water.
I don't know. It just feels gross because it's your hands aren't clean. I get you're getting shampoo or whatever you do first, whatever you're... And it's just I feel like my hands need to be clean before I try to clean my head or something.
I mean, yeah, but you can just do that in the shower.
No, Dylan, I'm curious, dude. A little birdie has told me that recently the anime fairy made a visit with you. Is that correct?
Oh, shit! Yeah, so they're all of the animes I watch. Literally all of them. And, 2 of them, I don't even think we're supposed to get continuation. It sucks that it's been so long. But, because Demon Slayer, because the movie just recently came out, the new season's gonna start here, I think, in, a month or less. One Punch Man, which I think was not supposed to get a continuation, is getting another season, so that's gonna be insane.
Why'd you think it wasn't supposed to get another
It's just been so long, and I heard talk of, One Punch Man isn't getting another, anime interpretation
Yeah, people
series.
really didn't like Season 2 at all, so...
They didn't?
No, they really didn't like Season 2.
What's wrong with Season 2?
Dude, the animation's worse in it, I guess.
Yeah, it was...
I didn't really notice that.
Slightly... what's it? Fairy Tail's also getting another anime interpretation, so that's gonna be sick. It did, but this one's gonna be Fairy Tail: The 100-Year Quest or whatever. So this is because at the end of the original anime, they went and accepted a 100-year quest. So I think this anime is them on that quest.
How do they not die after 100 years?
Listen, dude, they're wizards. How am I supposed to know? Maybe they have an unaged... damn, there were a couple other animes that were getting continuation. I can't remember.
Pokemon's getting another anime adaptation. That's crazy, right? Ash is no longer the main character.
Dude.
How dare they?
I can't remember what there was another other one, and I cannot for the life of me remember. I think there were 4. But yeah, no, because it was... The week that I found out about all of them, so I was super hyped. So I've now, my anime list went from stuff I haven't watched yet to shit I plan on continuing watching because I love that. But
So here's a hypothetical for you guys, okay? Now, Tanner is currently in a relationship. I'm sure all of us will find a relationship at some point down the line, And, we're getting older now. We're aging slowly. Our bodies are changing. Metabolism's slowing down. So let's just say, hypothetically here, all right? You're with this girl for a little bit, all right? Things seem to be going well, but she starts getting fat, okay? And, to a degree that you start to, lose some attraction towards her. What do you do anything in that instance? Do you say anything to her? What would you even say if that starts happening?
I mean, honesty and communication are probably the two best things
what would you say to her
in a relationship. I would just I wasn't prepared for this. This shit you gotta think up because you're gonna throw
communication
yourself in some
is important, but
damn, bitch, you got fat.
But some communication requires thought put into it, Tanner. I can't just jump on this subject without
Well, that's what the fucking question was for.
I know, but I didn't. I could think of the answer. I just couldn't think of what I'm gonna say yet. That's the thing.
I wouldn't tell her anything. My strategy is I would this is literally me just ripping off of a video I saw, but basically I would just, it'd be an elaborate ruse I'd play on her where she would, over time, realize how fat she's gone, but, I'd, pay people in the street when we're, walking by them, they'd be like, damn, bitch, you fat, or something or damn, you're pregnant, or something, things like that. I'd shave the fucking seat she normally sits in, at home. She'd break the fucking seat when she tries to sit in a chair. I'd weaken our bed frame. She lays down, it breaks her fucking bed. I do subtle
Jackson
things like that.
Undergo psychological warfare with his woman.
I don't know. Exactly. I'd probably be like, hey, I'm thinking about going to the gym. You want to go to the gym with me?
She'd break up.
I don't. Why?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think Dylan's correct here. The first thing you do is try getting her to go, exercise with you and whatever. Try and be organic about it.
Because then at that point, it's not just you trying to get her in the gym. It's you're also trying to get these. So it's a two-way street kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is that, I'm probably overthinking this, but I think that most people that start gaining weight are very cognizant of this, especially women. Women are very aware of themselves gaining weight. And they're self-conscious about it. And if you randomly come in with them hey, you want to start going to the gym with me? She'd probably be like, yeah, you think I'm fucking fat, huh? And it'd be a big hit to her ego. I think most women would take it that way.
But at that point, I feel like that'll at least open it up so you can try to chip away at it.
I still think it's a healthy approach, but I don't think they're going to take it very well.
Well, I don't think there's a good way to break it to anybody hey, you're fat, let's do something about it. I don't think that's something anybody takes well, Jackson.
You gotta be harsh with them sometimes.
Yeah, well...
Or play psychological warfare with them.
I think psychological warfare is probably the worst kind of warfare you could do to a person.
I disagree. I think actual warfare is worse.
I think chemical warfare, personally, is probably the worst one.
How would you perform chemical... You know what? Never mind.
Mustard gas.
I know the answers.
Yeah, you can make that shit at home.
Don't... No.
By the way, guys, I will say, actually, that something like this did end up happening to me slightly, to some degree. So, in one of my past relationships here... the girl who I was seeing, she had started gaining a bit of weight, and it was getting a bit noticeable, alright? And I really wanted to speak up.
It was 2 pounds.
I really wanted to speak up about it, but as we discussed, it's a bit of a touchy subject, I didn't really know how exactly to go about it. But eventually she said, oh yeah, I've decided to start working out. I feel like I've been gaining some weight, and, I feel like this will really help. And so I just said something very innocent about oh yeah, I kind of noticed that. I think that'll be a good idea. And
what a terrible
blunder, dude.
She got really mad at that.
Yeah, you just said, damn, bitch, you're so fucking fat and ugly. Holy shit, why am I with you? That's what she heard.
I probably would have reinforced and be like,
look,
awesome.
it was my first relationship where I was still a teenager or something at that point.
That's fair.
That actually reminds me of Jalon's sister at some point. I can't even remember exactly what she said, but she said something slightly derogatory about herself. I think it was something relating to her appearance. And I agreed with her. And she immediately was just so pissed off. It was you shouldn't have said that. Yeah. That was so rude of you. And I'm what the fuck? I'm just agreeing with you. I did not understand.
You're not supposed to agree, Jackson. Well, you're supposed to say, no!
Oh, you're so pretty. You're such a cute little damsel in distress. Oh, how will I save you? No. I was I don't fucking give a shit about this girl. That was really funny, though. We all used to be that guy who just comes with age.
Nah, I've always known how to talk to women. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He came out the womb.
I'm just referring to the fact, like, people make self-deprecating jokes so they can have people come in and save their ego for them.
Oh, I don't agree.
I always just play the, what did you say? Anyway.
Yeah, I know, you just do it all the fucking time to me, Tanner.
Huh? Anyway.
Yeah, fucking... I'm pretty sure I made this term up, but I'm gonna see if I say it, you guys know what it is. You guys know what car profiling is?
Making assumptions about people based on the kind of car they drive?
Yeah, basically, it kind of goes two ways. Like, you see a car, and you're like, I bet I know what kind of person drives that car based on the way they're driving or the car they're driving. Or you see a person in their car, like, oh yeah, that makes sense that they would be driving that kind of car. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all do it.
Does Nico do it, though? He doesn't like driving.
I don't think Nico sees most cars as anything other than just other generic cars.
Well, Nico?
Yeah, that's a... Yeah, of course I fucking do that, dude.
Okay, cool.
I see people driving poorly, and then I profile them as women.
Yeah, well, okay. I was just about to turn this... Yeah, like, BMW drivers don't use their blinkers. Grandmas drive old Hondas, kind of stuff, or women. It's mostly women. Jackson drives super...
That's a very specific profile right there.
Listen, Tanner, you don't have a car profile. Your car doesn't match you at all. Nico's car matches him.
Does it not?
I don't think so. I think Nico's car matches him, though, to be completely fair. Like, I don't know what other kind of car Nico...
Who does my car profile to, then?
I don't know. It's more like a size thing. Like, you don't seem like you fit in your car. You seem like you're too big for your car.
It's a big car, dude. Have you ever
what are you
been in
talking
it?
about?
I know, but, like, Tanner seems more like a Ford F-150 kind of guy.
There we go.
Like a big
Ford
truck guy?
F-150.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just me, though. What kind of car do you think? Do you think the car fits him, Jackson?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
But that's probably also just because I've seen him drive it for so long.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably helps.
You know, it's a very utilitarian vehicle. It's nice and big.
Dude,
I feel like it fits me pretty well.
Dude, I like the size of sedans, but I like the utility of SUVs. What can I say?
Mm-hmm. And that's why they invented the cross tour.
That's true.
Speaking of cross tours, though, guys, I'm ready to take a cross tour down to the theater for a little Guapish at the movies.
Guapish at the movies.
What song was that? What movie was that?
That was from Ichi the Killer, of course.
I could not remember anything from that
Ichi the
movie.
Killer. Jackson, is that one of the movies we're talking about this week?
Our Patreon request for this week was, in fact, the 2001 film Ichi the Killer, as requested by Tutbot. Nico, take us away.
He picked a movie.
No, he didn't.
He didn't, though. You and I both picked movies.
Oh, that's right. I did pick. Oh, I forgot I picked this week. Dang it. I was so close.
Crazy.
So, guys, Ichi the Killer follows the story of the sadistic Yakuza enforcer himself, Kakahira, not Ichi the Killer as you may suspect initially, who is on a relentless hunt for his missing boss, only to discover that the true perpetrator is Ichi the Killer himself. As Kakahira delves into the deeper, violent underworld of historic Japan, he becomes embroiled in a brutal and twisted game of cat and mouse with Ichi, who repressed his trauma to manifest in uncontrollable bouts of lethal rage, and in the end, they fight, but they don't actually fight. It's very unsatisfactory, so much so that Kakahira just kills himself, which is exactly what I want to do while watching this movie. Tanner, take us away with your haiku.
Here's my haiku as inspired by Ichi the Killer. Sad incel killer. Cool gang OC, do not steal. This is a good ending?
I gotta say, his boot blades were extremely effective and efficient at their job. So much so that I find them completely unrealistic. I don't know if that's just...
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what is and isn't unrealistic for the world that they've created here. Because you have weird shit like Ichi with his fucking boot blades. You got Kakahira who apparently just has like a bunch of rows of teeth. And you also have like Ichi's dad, who is also like an incredibly muscular dude with a CGI head. So like, who knows what the fuck is supposed to be real in this world?
Did he have multiple... I'm pretty sure I looked away for this part because I couldn't hit. Did he have multiple sets of teeth?
Yeah, maybe. I don't fucking know what's going on there exactly. I don't know what they were trying to convey.
All I know, from what I saw, from the little that I saw, he removed the little loop piercings right here at the corners of his mouth, and that just allows him to open his mouth up more than he...
It looked like there was some weird shit going on with his teeth, too.
Well, he's a pretty fucked up guy, so that's kind of that.
He's a pretty crazy guy.
Dude, this movie was crazy. I I got a Terrifier vibe from this. Kind of how, like, Nico was like, this is just torture porn for torture porn, or whatever Nico called Terrifier. I can't justify this being a good movie, though. It's so hard to watch. Just, like, I can't handle human gore. And that's pretty much all
you see,
this
unlike
movie is.
Terrifier, though, they do at least, like, try to have a story here.
Did they? Because it didn't feel very cohesive.
I mean, like, you know, it's very complex, okay? There's a lot going on in this narrative. Like, it's very intricate, Dylan, you know? It's a bit non-linear at times, perhaps. They're weaving together, like, a lot of different storylines that they just don't wrap up a lot of the times. And it's unclear as to how they really relate to each other most of the time, but they're at least trying.
I'll retract my statement about it being not coherent.
Oh, it's not coherent.
Say it didn't feel very strong or compelling at all. I wasn't invested in the story at all, and so because of that, I didn't enjoy this movie because of the other aspect that I had previously explained.
Well, yeah, I feel like a big detriment here is that, like, it's not even that, like, any of the characters are, like, you know, not, like, you know, good guys or whatever. It's just, like, you don't really want to root for anybody in this film, and as a result, it leaves you, like, really uninvested in what's happening.
Yeah, pretty much. I just kind of wanted everybody to die. Or, like, if somebody was gonna die, I was kind of like, whatever, just another tally mark, I guess.
Interestingly enough, though, guys, this is our very first Takeshi Miike film, okay? He's a very famous director over in Japangu.
If he's so famous, why haven't we seen one of his movies before?
Because we're racist?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was a wacky and expressive movie, I guess I will say. I agree, the plot, very hard to follow. It's hard to keep track of who is on whose side and who knows what information and who is trying to accomplish what. Like, I'm kind of unclear on why Ichi's handler was even having him kill people. He was just, like, trying to gain power in the Yakuza or something?
I think it's just because it's the Yakuza and they just need to kill a lot of fucking people. So he had the efficient killer kill a bunch of people. I don't think it's more complex than that.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, it's often too slow. The sound design?
It's inspired,
baffling.
Tanner, that's what it is.
It's insane is what it is. So many of the sound effects are just crazy, and it's very loud a lot of the time. A lot of the dialogue is getting drowned out by music. The editing is similarly,
chaotic.
I'll say, I was gonna say schizophrenic at times, but yeah, chaotic. Ultimately, I don't think this is a very good movie, but it's very interesting.
Tanner, is this going to be one of those so bad it's good?
Oh, it's not.
No.
Thank God. Thank God.
No.
Yeah, speaking of dialogue, I think this was another just peeve of mine. Like, and it was only the one character. What's her...
The woman.
One Yakuza lady leader, whoever. She kept switching between Japanese and English, and there was no reason for it, and nobody else in the movie did it, and there was no reason for her to speak in English. Like, and everybody understood her in English. So I was like, what's the point of having English if nobody else is going to speak it, but everybody can understand it? Like,
I brought that up while we were watching it. That I'm like, that must be some kind of, like, cultural thing in Japan where, you know, if you make a character switch a lot between English and Japanese, they're supposed to go, oh, I should associate these traits with that character, but since we're not Japanese, we don't get... It's like the same thing as, like, in American movies, you know, a dumb character will be given a redneck accent, and that's just, like, a quick way of American audiences going, oh, okay, I get that this character is supposed to be dumb.
I mean, that kind of makes it... I got that vibe a little bit, like, watching her, but it still didn't make any sense.
I'm going to be honest. I thought this movie was really entertaining overall. I kind of put it in a similar category to Blade, where Blade, by all means, is not a very... this movie, I'm giving Ichi the Killer a bit too much credit here. This is definitely not as good of a movie as Blade in many regards.
Like, I kind of see what you're spitting here, though.
Blade, from just like a plot perspective, is much more coherent, but they're both just kind of fucking crazy fever dream films with a lot of like experimental stuff going on. And because of that, I kind of take them the same way, and I kind of look at this movie very similarly to Blade, but also, in the end, this is just a pretty poorly produced film. Like, they have a lot of, like, interesting things they tried to do with the cinematography, and things like that, but it's very confusing, it's super long, and I don't feel like we really get that much of a payoff in the end of it. Like, I don't know what the fucking takeaway... I've thought about this movie for a bit. I don't really know what the takeaway of this is supposed to be at all. Like, our main character is just, like, some masochist that wanted to avenge his boss, and then he just fucking dies to Ichi the killer, and we don't really get a ton, and then Ichi... So what was going on, too, at the end? I don't really understand what was going on at the end where Ichi killed his handler, I think that was, hanging from the tree.
Yeah, I almost think, like, what the director wants us to be feeling is, like, sympathetic towards Ichi, and then I guess kind of happy that he's now, like, free at the end?
Ichi's a fucking psychopath, though.
Yeah.
Regardless of how he's been conditioned to be this way, he's still a complete fucking psychopath. And it's hard to find any remorse for his actions at all. So yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. It's, like, hard to want to root for anybody in this film. Like, I think our main character guy, he's cool. I think he's a fun character to follow around and watch his hijinks. And he was the real only character I cared for that much in this entire film. But there wasn't a whole ton else to
So as far as the
latch
ending
for
goes,
me.
I did look into it a little bit. And to clear a few things up here, so like Kakahiro or whatever, like fighting Ichi at the end, apparently that doesn't really happen. That just happens like in his head. What actually just happens is he just fucking jumps off of the fucking railing there and kills himself. That's why, like, you know, we see, like, in their fight, like, Ichi fucking slashes the dude's forehead, but then, like, when he's actually laying on the ground there, he doesn't have a cut there whatsoever. Similarly,
Right.
because, like, during, like, right before they fight, we see that, like, Ichi killed the little boy or whatever. That kid didn't actually die. The boy is who we see at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
That's him, like, a little bit older, I guess. Yeah, and so,
grown
and
up.
what,
Yeah.
like, Ichi's handler is doing hanging from a tree, who fucking knows? I didn't really get any clarification on why that happened.
How are you... I mean, I could see you... I thought it was just like a plot continuity error, or I guess it's just a regular continuity error, with the cut not being on his forehead when he jumped up. But how the fuck were you supposed to ever interpret this series of events? Like, what hints were there that we could have inferred that this
the
was what
color is
happened?
different now.
I don't know. I had a couple running theories that I got bits and pieces of the one you just read, but no, I didn't. I couldn't begin to understand this movie at all. I don't know.
I don't normally go this route, but I'm gonna be like Tanner does a decent amount, and you telling me more about this ending has actually lowered my view of the film. That's really fucking
It is very stupid, I agree.
Yeah. By all accounts, this is not a very well-made movie. It's very experimental. I think it's pretty interesting and entertaining for the most part, but it's not a very well-made movie. It's very, very confusing. Very weird.
It was also incredibly controversial at that, too. Like, you know, because of, like, all the fucking, like, weird torture and gore and shit like that throughout this film. A lot of countries were not super jazzed about it, let's just say. As well as, like, for some of, like, the releases here in the U.S. when it came out, some people did, like, promotional barf bags that they gave out with tickets for the film.
Checks out.
That's cute.
I don't know. I think a takeaway we can all be happy with about this movie is Yakuza is bad. I think that's like the general takeaway.
I think the games are pretty good, Dylan. I just think that you're being cruel because you just haven't played them or something like that yet. I don't know. But with that, Jackson, since you've been like flip-flopping a little bit here, what's your ranking gonna be for this one?
This is a really hard movie to rank, and like I go with a lot of my films where they're like pretty bad films, but I still find them kind of entertaining. This definitely does pull it up a bit, but it's not a crazy rank. This is maybe even low. I don't really know. I guess we'll find out soon. But I gave it a D+.
Okay.
Interesting.
Tanner, how are you feeling about it, man?
I went ahead and gave it a C.
Oh my god. That is so much higher than I was expecting you to give it. While we were watching the movie, you were saying, like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably gonna be like an F tier, probably, for
I don't
me.
think I said that.
You did say that.
Did I?
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
I kept talking about like, oh, Dylan's definitely gonna give this movie like a fucking F or an F-, and I think
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
was one of those sentiments.
I mean,
too.
yeah, I think it. I think the entertainment factor did pull it up quite a bit, and I do appreciate what it was going for. I think for me, it's just like D and F tier. Like, I have to like really actively dislike movies for them to get in there, and I didn't like dislike this one. It was more of a passive, this isn't very good.
Okay. Well, Dylan, how about you, dude?
Anyway, about subjective tier lists. I'm gonna give Ichi the Killer an F+.
I'm not too far away from there. I'm giving it a D-.
Crazy.
Yeah, I did not think this film was very good. Miike, your popularity, I guess, has not yet been earned on Guapish cast, it looks like.
For sure.
I want to watch this movie with people.
Why would you wish this upon people? That's so bad.
Because I think it'd be funny.
That's, dude,
anyways, you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this lands at a solid D overall, which sounds about right.
I would never recommend any of our F tier movies to anybody, ever.
Thankfully, it's not F tier, huh? Dylan's pick of the week, which hopefully is not an F tier, was the 1988 film Die Hard, which you'll now give a quick rundown of.
Die Hard! Alright, listen. You got this cop, he's flying back to California, I think is where he is. He goes to a building, finds his wife, did all that stuff. Then turns out there's people came up here for this money that this Japanese guy owns in this thing. They spend the entire movie breaking up the vault. The police guy ends up killing all the terrorists and whatnot. The police show up, the FBI shows up, they fuck everything up. All the FBI guys die, most of the police guys die. The policeman ends up killing everybody and saving the day, getting his wife, and then they all go home with the limo driver, and they live happily ever after. And it's Christmas!
I think this takes place in California. What? He bitches about it being California so many times.
Dylan's always non-committal with statements because he's always afraid he's wrong. Here's my haiku as inspired by Die Hard. New York City cop, toe-to-toe with master crooks. God damn, he's stinky! He smells so bad by the end of this movie, dude. Holy shit. This movie is fucking fantastic. I'm so glad I finally have seen this one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. We've watched, like, a decent amount of those, like, classic action movies at this point, and none of them were really, like, all that great, in my opinion. But Die Hard, fortunately, did live up to the hype, I must say.
Yeah, I was supremely pleased with the outcome. Yeah, what's really weird is because I attribute a lot of movies to prior ones that we've either watched or I've watched. This, for some reason, reminds me a lot of Skyscraper. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie or not.
Never heard of that.
Skyscraper is just a movie about Dwayne Johnson, and he's like some high-level security guard for a sky. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a lot
So that movie would have come out, what, 3 decades after this one?
Something like, I don't know. But I think, yeah, the action of this movie was very well done. There was nothing, like, because I think one of the biggest things in action movies and horror movies is things happening for plot convenience sake, and I don't think anything in this movie ever happened that way, and I don't think anything was super out of the ordinary crazy, and if anything, I mean, people could argue, like, oh man, this cop guy, he's gotta be so tired. There was a part in the movie where they shot the glass and he stepped on a bunch of glass, he was just bleeding. Like, he should have no energy to do anything in this. I don't even really think that was super unrealistic. I think this movie was fairly grounded. It gave us a plot to care about. It gave us a character to care about. And, like, maybe, like, a couple side characters to care about. Even, like, the random police guy who, like, showed up first was real chill, and I liked him a lot. Just likable characters. This plot was super solid. Super, solid villain. Yeah, super solid action. It's great.
I think that's something this movie does really well that I don't see it in a lot of action movies seem to, is it actually does a pretty good job of building tension. Like, there's a lot of scenes that are actually just straight up really intense. Like, I've seen this movie before, but you still get, like, the goosebumps of, like, what's gonna happen, like when he's fucking sliding along a floor with a bunch of broken glasses, he almost gets pulled out of the window, or when his fucking holster is like just barely holding with his gun when he's about to make the jump in the elevator shaft. There's a lot of moments like that in this film that just do a really good job of just, like, putting you on edge, like for like a first watching perspective. It's a very engaging film, certainly.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of other like action movie main characters or whatever, you definitely don't feel as though like he's invincible or anything like that. You can definitely sense like he's in danger and does like get fucked up throughout this film. Like, just like with like the scene of him like stepping on a bunch of glass and he's like bleeding all over the place or whatever the fuck, and towards the end of the movie he's just like fucking limping everywhere, and like at the start of the movie is like just like a white ass wife beater, and then at the very end of it like it's just fucking black. It's just crazy to see that progression.
I also like something I pointed out that I thought was very funny to me is that like our main characters, so John McClane and then the main police guy and then our main villain, they're allowed to be smart. They're able to plan and react to each other in intelligent ways, but every other character in this movie is dumb as a box of rocks. The FBI agents, that other police officer, I was laughing at that guy real hard with the shenanigans he was pulling. We have the smarmy employee that was like hitting on John's wife. Yeah, that was a good scene too when he was like, "Hey, John boy," or he was trying to like finesse the fucking criminals, and then they just fucking shoot him.
Yeah, I saw that. That scene went a lot farther than I thought it would, but it ended the exact way I thought it would too. So I guess it's a win.
Yeah, and something I really like. Obviously, action movies, a big important part of them is like your set pieces and the environment that your action are happening in, and I'm very impressed by how engaging they managed to make this one office building being. Like the choice to have some of the floors under construction so that you can do have some visual and I guess practical variety was a genius idea. Having him crawl through the vents, and then you have the roof, the lobby, the under construction areas. Like they managed to get a lot of variety in the kinds of environments that the action is taking place.
Yeah, which is the exact sort of thing that I had previously criticized The Raid for, was its lack of like visual variety throughout the film. And this film, accomplishes that in a much better way.
I'd say dilapidated building where like some kind of like gang does their drugs.
They can still do interesting shit with that.
It's a realistic setting for.
We don't need to defend The Raid right now. I could argue this, but I don't feel like it. We're talking about a different movie.
I think it's a pretty well done movie. For some cons, because we haven't really been super negative about it. There's definitely in like the mid portion when he stops being in like direct conflict with the criminals. It's mostly just we're watching the bad guys do setup and the police people get set up as well. That definitely starts to peter out for me. There's also a pretty, for maybe controversial statement, but it's kind of a slow-paced movie for what it is, and it's also like over 2 hours, so it's a long movie and it's kind of slow-paced. It has its moments of like really high-intensity action, also you don't want a movie to be completely filled with that, but it definitely has its like lulls, which kind of lost me a little bit. There's like some kind of goofiness, I think the most obvious one is the fucking guy that was hung up by a goddamn chain in an exploding, collapsing building, walks out, trying to fucking go guns blazing on them at the end of the movie. That's just kind of fucking stupid. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, no, generally it's a pretty well-made movie overall. I didn't really feel super attached with it. Definitely is kind of just like action man movie. I definitely like to have movies with a bit more emotional draw to it. They had like the subplot of like the guy and his wife trying to reconnect or something, but it was kind of thin. I didn't really give a shit about it at all.
Yeah, overall pretty unnecessary, I feel, but at the same time,
it's an action movie. You gotta have the fucking cool badass guy get with the hot chick or whatever.
Yeah.
One minor detail though, I did like the characterization of the fucking goober, the guy that was trying to do the negotiation with the terrorists. When we very first meet him, we see him, with fucking John McClane talking to the head exec guy, and the wife goes and starts talking to John about like how they were like a thing previously, and you can like see the guys kind of getting like shifty-eyed and uncomfortable in that statement, and then immediately you can follow it up. He's a very consistent character. He's funny too. Generally, I think the characters are pretty well written in this movie. Outside of the ones that are complete fucking dumb fucks, like the completely incompetent government forces.
Yeah, why are the FBI so useless? That's what I'm trying to figure.
They were trying to make it realistic.
It is LAPD after all, and the government.
Yikes.
So, Dylan, what rating are you thinking you're going to be giving this movie?
That's a great question. I've been bouncing back and forth. To be honest, I don't know where I want to put it yet. But
pick one, dude. Go ahead.
Let's go. I'll go with the higher one, and then I can lower it later, because that's better that way. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give it Die Hard an S-.
Whoa. Guys, I think that, this is Dylan's pick this week. He's been on the prowl for an S-tier film for quite a while now. Could this be his very first one that breaches in the S-tier? Tanner.
I also gave this one an S-.
Holy smokes. And I gave it an A-tier. Jackson, how about you?
This
You're the make or break here, dude. You're the make or break.
Yeah, I also gave it an A tier. Like I said, I definitely need more of an emotional draw of the film to really want to rate it like that highly. A tier is still very good.
Yeah.
This is a really solid film. This is definitely the best action movie, I think. Maybe I'm going to eat my words. I haven't looked. Maybe there's an action, like a hard action movie I have higher than this on my tier list right now, but I definitely think this is the best action movie we've seen so far.
Oh yeah.
It's got its flaws, but it's a very entertaining film at the end of the day. And that lands it at an A+ overall, unfortunately.
Whoa.
Unfortunately.
That is Dylan's highest rated movie.
I was gonna say, I think
so
that's my
far.
new
Yeah.
highest rated movie. So congrats
There
to
we
me,
go.
I guess.
Congrats, dude. You're
fabled
eking
S tier.
ever closer.
Honestly, I'm shocked it didn't get S tier. I really thought you guys were going to, specifically like Tanner and Dylan were going to rate it much higher than S-.
Yeah, I was fully expecting them to give it like an S tier at the very least as well.
What can I say? We're the objective ones.
Speaking of S-tier films, now we're talking about my pick and the last pick of the week, that being the 2012 film Life of Pi, which of course is about, Pi, whatever his actual full name is, I can't remember, pissing.
Pissing.
Yeah, so basically he's just some Indian guy who really likes religion, and then he gets stuck on a boat with a tiger, and he learns more about God and himself this way, and the movie takes place in the context of a reporter talking to our main character about his life and learning more that way, and it's more like, all of it's like very deeply metaphorical, too, so there's a lot of different ways you can take this film. Tanner, what is your haiku?
Tanner, can you give us your haiku in an
My
Indian
haiku,
accent?
sure, as inspired by Life of Pi, is young Indian boy lost at sea with a tiger. Shoulda just killed it.
Damn, I got the first two lines of your haiku right. I got the last one wrong. That's so unfortunate.
Lucky.
Womp womp. Yeah, here's my I don't have many thoughts on this. I think it very much is meant to be more of a visual spectacle than anything else.
Yeah.
It's a bit too slow. It doesn't really say much about any of its themes. Like, he's obsessed with religion and whatever, and that seems to be a theme they're trying to push, but like, I feel like it didn't ultimately have much to say about religion. And then my biggest problem is, like, at the end, he like tells this like, fake version of the story of how it happened, and I'm like, it feels like we're supposed to kind of interpret that, like, the story he told the guy was fake, and then this one he like made up in front of the insurance company is the real one. But then we read the one thing that we read the like official report that does mention the tiger. So then it's like, what's the point of doing this like fake out story?
Because the insurance company wanted a story that was believable, and him surviving at sea with a tiger for that long is unrealistic.
Right, but like, why write that into the movie is what I mean.
To make the audience think.
Right.
But it doesn't.
It does.
I don't know, dude.
That's the whole point I'm making.
I didn't see the hook tiger thing written in there, so I have no clue what you're talking about.
Guys, let me put you onto some fucking fire here. This is straight from the author's mouth, my diggity dog. So basically, the whole point of that second film is he's trying to teach people to believe. He's teaching faith in people, given his second story. He's trying to teach them to believe in his initial story with one that is more reasonable, but you can characterize and, make connections to with his actual story. Because the actual story, again, straight from the author's mouth, is the one with all the animals and all the crazy shit that you wouldn't expect to actually happen. The impossibilities, as they say. And the whole point of it, like, we literally saw it with the... with the reporter as well, where he was drawing a bunch of connections to the fake story with the real story. And the whole point is he was trying to get that guy to believe more about his actual story, what truly happened, by something that is more grounded that they can understand. Kind of like what the priest was doing with him in the church as well. He was giving him, questions, and he was giving him examples to embolden his faith, basically. This is a very deeply religious movie. There's a lot going on here.
Oh, it for sure is, dude. I was like, god damn, the amount of religion they're really just throwing in this movie. Like, I feel like, I imagine, I can't say I'd imagine it being hard for you to watch, Jackson, but I can imagine, like, this is hard to digest for people who, never mind, I'm gonna stop while I'm behind.
I'm sure I digested it about exactly as well as you guys did. I don't think anything necessarily went over my head.
Yeah,
like,
like I said, it has religious themes. I don't think it really says much about them, and I don't think it's sort of touching on religion is very deep
it hit it hard
at all.
in the beginning, and then it kind of lost touch with it throughout the whole middle of it.
But like it didn't. It hit like the surface level stuff of religion, where it's like, what is the nature of belief? You know, like this is intro to being religious.
Yeah. Speaking of the beginning of this film, controversial opinion, but this movie is pretty fucking boring, and the first 40 minutes of the film just being this guy working through life in a very not entertaining way for the most part. Like, the first part of this film is very slow. Obviously, we're getting set up of our main character and learning more about him, his introduction to faith and how that affects him on his trip with the tiger. But also, it's just not very entertaining. You'd have to like fundamentally change what this story is about to fix that problem. And I definitely think they could have cut out a lot of us learning more about, Pi. But yeah, it's just kind of a boring movie for me. The visuals are definitely very nice to look at. It's a very pretty looking film.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I feel like, for something that's just like, set out in the ocean where it's just like a dude in a raft, they find some really creative ways of like, coming up with these really awesome shots.
Yeah, but in terms of like actual substance, I didn't really have a ton that I was super engaged with. Like there were some entertaining moments with the tiger shenanigans and stuff, but mostly I thought this movie was just kind of boring for the most part. I don't really have a ton more to say about this movie, to be completely honest with you either.
Yeah, overall, I'd say that like, I don't know. Pi is a spiritual journey, I guess, just filled with a lot of missed opportunities for any sort of deeper exploration in them, and as a result, the narrative is just pretty uninteresting for the most part, and the visuals are nice. It has a nice thematic spectacle that just has really meaningless insight into anything much deeper than that. Tanner, what are you giving this movie?
I gave this one a B+.
Whoa. Jackson, how about you?
I give it a B-.
Whoa. I'm giving it a B. Dylan, who are you lining up with here? Are you going your own way?
Tanner.
Okay.
And guys, the most B tier of movies we've ever seen has landed at B tier.
Wow.
More like Life of Pi.
I think that would be a much more interesting film.
Yeah. A guy learning he's bisexual with a tiger on a boat.
I don't know why you reminded me, but for some reason, I thought, let me introduce you to my wife and kids, what he said at the end of the movie. I, thought by some unforeseen, amount of circumstances and, whatever, miracles or whatever, that, his girlfriend or whatever from India ended up wherever he did, and then they got married and had kids. And then when I saw it wasn't, I was...
No, that was her.
No, her name was different.
No, it wasn't. Was
I
it
had
different?
subtitles on. It was different. Unless the subtitles fucked up, I don't know. I'll go back.
I'm pretty sure we're supposed to say, oh, he imported her over and they got married.
Imported her over.
Yeah,
I'll go double check, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't her.
I'm pretty sure that'd be weird if it is just some random other Indian woman. Anyways, we got pick movies.
Whoa, do we? I feel like we can call it good there.
Oh.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm kidding. Tanner, what are you picking,
So this
dude?
is my last week of source material. And I think this week, this has been a long time coming. I should have picked it earlier, but I'm going to be picking, I believe it's the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Whoa.
Is that the original first one?
Yes, the 1991 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Alright.
Dude, I'm so pumped to see Shredder, and I'm so pumped to see, all those ne'er-do-wells make crime look really cool, and for me to, want to go and rob old ladies in the streets. I can't wait for that.
True.
Crazy.
As for me, though, I'm going to be going with something a little different here. There are a lot of movies that I want to get to. There are a lot where I'm like, ooh, that's really enticing. I kind of want to pick that movie out. But instead, I'm going to go a different route here. And I'm going to pick our second chick flick, guys, because Burlesque just did not cut in that department. We're going to be watching The Notebook.
Ah, fuck. I think I know what I'm rating the movie already.
Well, maybe give it a second chance here, Dylan. Jackson, would you like to roll that Patreon for us?
Yes, I'd love to. And of course, the Patreon pick for this week was The Sound of Freedom, the 2023 film, as requested by Mr. T on Patreon. Thank you for requesting that movie.
Whoa, no way. And if you too would like to suggest a movie for the Patreon, then Dylan is going to tell you exactly how you can do that.
Alright guys, what you're going to do is you're going to go to patreon.com/Guapish. You're going to subscribe to our Patreon. Don't just subscribe to anybody else's. If you're subscribed to anybody else's, stop it right now. Pay us $1. That gives you 500 slime coins. That gives you access to our Discord. It gives you access to our pre-Guap. It gives you access to our episodes whenever they're released. And while you're in the Discord, you can bring up topics, suggest topics that we talk about on the podcast, suggest movies, and get it picked just like Mr. PT's did. And to top it all off, you get your name read out at the end of every podcast, such as Slayed by Jay, Blake, Neda Gant, Raheem Rajawani, Kyler Nikolai, Uranium-Infused Motor Skills, Top Ramen Man, Joshua Bean, I'm Gay for Godzilla, Tutbot, Lucas Ledette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards. Thank you to all of our Patreon
Thank you very much. We all love you so much. We love you, patreon.com/Guapish. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.